So the fourth award recipients night, very special, Norma Sturgis. Norma is a master rug braider, instructor, and author. She has elevated the art of rug braiding to the highest level. She has enthusiastically passed her knowledge along to a generation of braiders. She is 90 years young, and she's been braiding rugs for 65 years. She still teaches and mentors others in this wonderful folk and art tradition. Her book, The Braided Rug Book, Creating Your Own American Folk Art, is in its third edition. This book is considered by many to be the definitive guide to rug braiding. She's come down from Casper to be here. Norma, you are a gifted artist, and we are delighted that you're with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming Norma.
The first time I met Norma was in a workshop that I was hosting, and her daughter Dory called me after listening to me on the radio and said, "Hey, my mom lives in town and she's an expert, and she wrote 2 books on the subject. Would you like to come out and meet her?" I said, "Yeah, I would."
Part of it was putting it down on paper in a way that people could understand and learn. That was what the book did. Before that time, there were pamphlets and there were teachers, but there really wasn't a really good book that was organized in a way that someone could take the book and learn by themselves if they needed to.
And that was some of her techniques. People can look at them and they can't even figure out how she actually does it. These are very beautiful rugs.
My husband was in school and I was by myself with the baby, and we had always made whatever we needed, so I decided to make a rug. And then I saw a good one, and I knew I should be able to do better. The braided rug is progressing, so now it's taken a long time, but they're now doing different shapes, and different styles, and they're really spreading.
I think one thing that really makes Norma and her art unique is that Norma is not just an artist, but she's a teacher as well. And she has a passion for sharing her art and this craft with others.
When you're working with someone like that, they've got an incredible amount of information. You try to get as much of it as you can and then to apply what she knows. That's really a joy to be able to do that, to work with someone who has that kind of knowledge in her head.
Well, that was the purpose of writing the book, was to try to encourage the spread of the braided rug. It hadn't had much recognition. As an example,
I was excited when Norma told me that the Denver Art Museum was looking at taking one of her pieces of work into the Fiber Arts collection.
Well, I think I've made a dent in getting the braided rug known, accepted, and out in the public now.
And to learn how to actually create rugs with your hands is a way to connect to the past. And that's one thing that makes Norma's art so special.
Well, I think it's important that we do learn these arts from those who currently hold it.
I'd like to just reinforce the fact that it is a wonderful craft, and you have very permanent friendships from it, which, of course, are important for your life. A lot of the qualities that come from being in a group and enjoying it, and it turns out very life, expanding, I guess, would do. Of course, all rugs are one of a kind.
As an heirloom, she's creating things for the generations to follow that they'll remember, because these rugs will last for hundreds of years, at least 100 years if you take care of them, unlike a lot of the modern type of things you purchase at the store where they're gone in 10 years. So she puts her love and affection into the rugs that she creates.
So what's it like to grow up and have this beauty in your house?
You know, I don't think I really appreciated it until I was older. I've been actually totally amazed how wonderful an artist she is, and her wonderful friends, and I'm very proud of her.
Good evening. I'm Betsy Sturgis. I am the youngest daughter of my mother, Norma Sturgis. My mother, Norma, is humbled and honored to receive the Governor's Award. It is a wonderful that Wyoming has recognized the value of those who dedicate their lives to the creation and service of the art. She wants to thank the Governor, the Wyoming Arts Council, and everyone who has supported her. She especially wants to thank her wonderful friends and family. It is an amazing gift to be able to pursue your life's passion. My mother has been braiding rugs for more than 65 years, and she's never stopped being both fascinated and challenged by her art. When she moved to Wyoming, she thought she was leaving behind her beloved fellow braiders and friends, and perhaps her time for art was winding down. For those of you who are just getting to know my mother, when it comes to braided rugs, she's never winding down. At first, she did not meet new friends who were interested in rug braiding, and then in the wonderful Wyoming classic fashion, she and her art were welcomed. A story in the newspaper, interest from one person and then another. It grew into an exhibit at the National Historic Trails Interpretive Center in Casper, recognition from the Wyoming Arts Council, and the formation of a rug guild in Casper. In Wyoming, she discovered a new and enthusiastic generation eager to learn and preserve the craft. We have many of her former students and friends, members of the Rocky Mountain Braided Rug Guild, to thank for the interesting activity. And they have been making numerous trips from Colorado to Wyoming this past year to give workshops to members of the new Rug Guild in Casper. One of her greatest gifts of her life has been the opportunity to teach and to see so many students blossom. She wrote the books on rug braiding to reach those whom she could not teach personally. By writing her books, she has been able to help others learn, no matter how far away they were. It's great to see the art of rug braiding is no longer a lost art. My mother said when we were writing the book that grandmothers have always handed down their braided rugs, but they did not hand down the knowledge of how to make those braided rugs. And then she said, and I am the grandmother who is going to change all of that. Since she is now in her 90s, she has some advice to all those who work in the arts, no matter what their chosen craft is. And I would tell you that if you had honored her in the 70s, she would have had advice to give you at that point as well. First, pass it on. Don't let a tradition die. Second, encourage young people. There is great joy in being able to create something with your own hands, and we should not lose that. Third, if the craft speaks to you, let the art grow and change in your hands. You may find a new way, a new beauty. And last, even when you are not sure how your project is going to turn out, don't give up. Just move ahead and call it experience. From Mom's heart and art to yours, we thank you.